be self-evident that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights. And among these rights are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. Hey guys, welcome again. Today's little poem or short story is called The Day I Die. And again, if you want to check out some of my work, you can go on wikinut.com and just search up Donald Sawinski. Or you can just Google my name and it'll come right up. But I wanted to share this with you. So let's go ahead and get into it. Again, it's called The Day I Die. It was the Ides of March in the year 2046, and my 73rd birthday was approaching quickly. My body grew old, muscles weak, bones were thin, and eyes glazed over. The little hair I have is silver and gray. The life I've lived, I have no regrets. It was the mistakes I made that made me. The journey seemed so long, but in the flash of a second, it was gone. Many family and friends passed on long before their time. I feel so privileged to have lived so long. As I sit here on my chair, my life passes through my mind. Some things I'd rather not see, but it was the life I designed just for me. The message I shared, though it seemed so rough, was through mistakes made so those that listened could comprehend. As I sit here, it's hard to breathe. My children are gathered all around me. Prayers I could hear them say, God forgive this man for his sin. He was rough, he was tough, but his message we heard so clear. After all, God, he shared your word and taught us right. Then I heard a heavenly voice call my name and said, follow me. As I rise above, I see my body and I start to cry. The gentle voice says, have no worries, your pain is gone, and those that love you are waiting on the other side. Having traveled through the valley of the shadow of death, I thought for sure I'd be laid to rest. I followed the Spirit to much my surprise. Just as he said, my family and friends were waiting on the other side. Excellent job, I heard one yell, and there was my grandfather, and I thought for sure he would have gone straight to hell. As we all gathered, laughed, and joked, they told me it was my prayers that saved their souls. When I looked to my right, I seen the gates of heavenly might. I thought to myself, is this the heavenly realm? And the Spirit showed up again and said, it is time. The loved ones had disappeared, and I was brought before the council of the heavenly 12, the room magnificent and so sublime. As I was ushered to the front of the line, I turned to ask my guide, what is this place? And he said, it is the heavenly divine. This is the council of 12, and they are all so wise, and each man must answer for his life. And this is when you are judged, for without it, you cannot see God. My name was called, and I stood by fast, and the council had said, step forward, your time has passed. I quickly approached and bowed my head. They pulled out a book that was very large and called it the Book of Life. Then they proceeded to take out another book and called it the Book of My Life. The head counsel had said to me, do you understand you are being judged for your life? I had no response and looked about. The chambers was empty with no one around. He proceeded to say, we will compare your life to that of the 10 Commandments given to Moses by God. They said with a smile, you may call upon any soul that may help you. They started from the beginning and carried all the way to the end. No questions were asked, and they just looked up with a grin. After discussion and leaving the room, they had all gathered together and entered again. The head counsel stood up and said, step forward. Do you have witness you wish to call on your behalf? As I began to tremble and I fell to my knees and I prayed, oh Lord, have mercy on me. I responded with, no, I'm here to accept the consequences of my life, whichever way it may go. The counsel to the left advised I call witness on my behalf because I had broken all the commandments that God laid before my path. Just as the counsel was about to pass judgment, I stopped and I said, gentlemen of the council most high, on second thoughts I do have a witness to call on my behalf. They looked down and said, you have had your chance, and all the sin you have committed, no one can save you now. Your name shall be removed from the book of life and damnation in hell. The high council to the right stopped and said, let's hear this man witness before he goes off to hell. They said, you may call any witness you choose. I got down and I prayed, and they said it's a little too late to do that now. I stood to my feet and said with a smile, I call on the Lord of Lords, King of Kings, Jesus the Christ, the Messiah, the one and only begotten Son of God. The council began to bicker and yelling about, you, Jesus the King, shall not come about. You have lived life unworthy, and your judgment is final. I bowed my head. I thought I'd been beat. And all of a sudden, the council was on their feet. And trumpets I heard, and angels were singing, and the room was so bright I could barely see. And Jesus walked in and said, this one is with me. That's all, folks. Have a great day. Bye-bye. Form of government becomes destructive of these ends. It is the right of the people to alter or abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles, and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to effect their safety and happiness.